So what do you do when you wake up one morning and you Google your name in Google and you see 50 different magazines and newspapers and everything calling you a liar? Now, that's what happened to me. Actually, years ago, there was an agency in New York State, a consumer agency, people I usually do a lot of work for. And they came out with a special report showing that I'm causing all this problem and I'm lying about government programs and everything. It was so funny, I actually helped them for months and months to accumulate. They said they were getting after people who were calling people up and ripping them off of promising government grants. You know? So I was helping them for months and months, and then they came out with a report with my name on the front saying that I'm not in trouble, but I'm causing all this problems and I'm lying about government programs. And it just was a, just knocked the wind out of me. It was one of the, the hardest things I had to get through in a way. And what I learned from it though is that how much more I knew than everybody. When I took apart that report, I saw, gosh, everything, they just didn't even know what government was. They said they called the government agency and they said, how many government grants there are? And they said like 200 million or something like that, and mostly goes to nonprofit organizations and things. And they're right, but I don't say grants, I say free money. And see, free money is trillions of dollars, not just billions, trillions. So they don't even know what they're talking about, and they would say things like, oh, it only goes to PhDs or something. And that's true, some programs do, but 30 million other people get it too. So it was an interesting ride, but it really taught me how taught me how to fight things too. I mean, I really, instead of just trying to protect myself, I mean, what I thought they were really doing is hurting the average consumer about the programs they were there. So to me, that was the aspect of this I took, is that, hey, by you saying this, it's not hurting me. I mean, I'll survive no matter what they say about me. But you're educating people think there's no money for anybody, and that's the problem. And that's where I think they went wrong. And I was debating them, but I got a lot of press from it and nothing. But also another thing I did was took a lie detector. That's right, you call me a liar, take a lie detector. Yeah, a test. I never did one, and I was really scared as hell about it. But there was this program on television at the time, on one of the cable channels, official lie detector, is this person lying? And they had like the biggest lie detector expert in the world, and I flew out to Los Angeles to take this lie detector test, and then on the air they'll reveal the results of my lie detector. And what I did though, I was so afraid because I don't know anything about lie detector tests. I don't know if they're right or wrong or whatever. So I was researching for 2 or 3 days about lie detector tests. So in case I'm live on television, they say, Lesko, you're a liar. Because who knows how these things work. I would have ammunition somewhat to protect myself. And actually what I found, a lot of it is just junk science. It's not even used in courtrooms. You can't use it in courtrooms in almost every state and things like that. And there's a lot of junk science involved with this thing, but I guess it's some way helpful. But I did take the test. And here, watch this video. Here's a video of the show I was on with the results of the lie detector test. So watch it.
You say that the government has tons of money that's available to us all, but there are some folks who are concerned that you may not be telling the truth.
Yes, it's the Consumer Protection Board in New York State, and they're calling me a liar, which is a baseless claim on reports that, just make no sense to me, and that's why I'm here today, to try to set this record straight.
Why would they be against you? I mean, because you have written 70 books. You've covered everything about how to write and get a grant, how to get free money to pay your bills, how to get cash to quit your job, how to get money for a better home. Who wouldn't want that information?
I believe, and I'm biased, so you can't trust me. Anybody try to sell you something, which I sell books. But these are real programs, and that's what I spent a lifetime doing for 25 years or more. What my job has been is going to the government and finding these programs and letting people know about them.
But I can't understand that if you are writing books and you're helping people find money that you say is available to us all, why would the Consumer Protection Board be against something like that?
They were investigating boiler room scam people who call you up at dinner time and get money from you and they're promising you grants, and I do nothing like that at all. I just sell books. If you don't like the books, just send them back. So these boiler room people are ripping people off. So they were doing a report, about these bad companies. So to get noticed about the report, what they said is that what I do encourages these people, and they believe that I'm lying about what I do. So because I'm lying, that encourages these other companies to rip consumers off.
They're saying you're a fraud.
Yeah, I know, and it hurts. But who it's hurting more is really the people who can't get help, because there's actually, I have the data now that I'm trying to show people, even whether you use my book or not. See, the programs are out there. There's no magic to these things. It takes effort, and that's what I do. You got one idiot like me who'll go around and get all these things in one place, but you can go out and find it yourself. But when you hear an official get up and say, these programs aren't available or whatever, there's 50 million people who could call today and get help, but they don't know. They don't know about the program, so they're not calling.
There's so many ironies, I guess you might say, in your fight here. Ironically, the Army has you coming in and talking to men and women coming back from war about some of the programs that can help them get back on their feet. Yeah. But yet another wing of the government is telling you you're a fraud, that you're exaggerating. Shut up, you're not telling the right information.
It's amazing to me, and I go over to Walter Reed for the wounded that are getting out of the service, being mustered out, and with all kind of problems, to show them about all the programs that are available. Not only the Defense Department and Veterans Administration, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of other programs. And I do this because I think, who deserves these programs more? And it's not just for military. These are programs for everybody, but I want these people who sacrificed limbs and things like that in wars for us, to be aware of what this country has to offer, back to them.
Regarding your statement that there are billions of dollars that millions of consumers can apply for, do you intend to answer truthfully each question about that?
Yes.
Unrelated to this matter, did you ever give anyone reason to think you were a liar?
No.
A relevant question covers a single issue.
Are there billions of dollars that millions of consumers can apply for that they don't know about?
Yes.
Matthew, you came on Lie Detector today to prove to everybody that you are not misleading the public as you've been accused of. We ask you the following relevant question. Are there billions of dollars available from the government that millions of consumers can apply for that they don't even know about? To which you answered yes. Matthew, the Lie Detector has determined that you're telling the truth. The truth.
Why do you make it so long to say that?
You waited this long. What are you feeling inside? You've been vindicated.
It was nice. It's not about me, this whole thing. It's about the country. Oops, I don't want to get there yet.
No, you can get emotional. This is the country we love, Matthew, and there's not a darn thing about shedding a tear.
Yeah.
There are many who are shedding blood
right
for our country. So I'm glad we have a show like this that can set the record straight.
I am too.
Thanks so much for being with us, Matthew, and good luck, and continue the good work. Thank you.
I'm going to have fun.
Thank you.
Can I have lots of fun?
Years ago, I used to think the most dangerous thing you do in life is get that car. Because people died more in cars than anything else, it seemed. And that was the data that I grew up with. Now, about 10 years ago, I heard some data about people dying in hospitals by accident. Not because they're sick or anything, but from screw-ups and errors and accidents at hospitals. And it was like, it was the data I heard were like 100,000. And at the time, it was like 50,000 people would die in cars. Like, gee, that's twice as many people dying in hospitals than people driving around in automobiles. And I thought that was so dangerous. Well, here, I just looked at the data again recently. And here's what it looks like. There's a new study came out just like last year that shows from 200,000 to 400,000 people are dying in hospitals from medical errors. Medical errors. You go to the hospital, get fixed, you're sick, and you got a bigger chance of dying there than anything else, at least by an accident. You know, I mean, sure, you know, it's not cancer, heart disease and things like that, but accident. There's no other thing that is more dangerous than you can do than go in a hospital. Look at the data here. Traffic deaths now. Motor vehicle deaths are down to 33,000. So we got 200 to 400,000 people dying a year by accident, errors by, you know, hospital employees that are dying in hospitals, and only 33,000 are dying in traffic accidents. Or how about this? Guns are so dangerous. Well, they're about the same as automobiles. About 33,000 people, 32,000 actually, are dying from handguns. You know? so you know, hospitals are 10 times more dangerous than handguns or automobiles. Well, here's another interesting thing: is suicide deaths, 40,000. So you know, homicides are 16,000. So people killing each other are 16,000. You know, people killing themselves are 40,000. So altogether, firearms account for 32,000. You know, that's the number of deaths for firearms. So it's amazing that we worry so much about handguns, people dying, automobiles, people dying. But what about hospitals? People go in to get well and live, and because of screw-ups in hospitals, look at 200, 400,000 people are dying. So what do? You know, if you have a friend, loved one or anything, or you're going to the hospital yourself, well, I think the most important thing to do if you're in a hospital is bring someone with you. Man, somebody should be sitting in that chair next to your bed, listening to everything that's going on, because you or the patient doesn't have the power or the energy or whatever to ask the doctor or the nurse or whatever some stupid questions because they may have screwed up. No. You need somebody there. I mean, I firmly believe that. So the more time that you could spend with somebody just sitting there in the hospital with somebody while they're being cared for, because they have a higher chance of being killed by accident in the hospital than anything else they do in life. And here's another group I ran into that is interesting, I think. If something really does happen to you, or a loved one or whatever, and there's an organization that helps. It's a nonprofit. It's called Mothers Against Medical Error. So these are self-help groups, you know, that help other people that ran into this problem. It's good when you have a problem that nobody else has to find out talk to somebody who's already gone through it. You know, don't call an attorney first and things like that. And, you know, who knows what's going to happen. I mean, you want to, fine. But to me, I would get information from people who've gone through the process so they could teach you what they should have done the first time. So that's Mothers Against Medical Error. And their website is MAMEMONS online, ONLINE. So that's Mothers Against Medical Error, and their address on the web is MAMEMOSONLINE.org, and that's helped you. So watch out. The most dangerous thing, you have a bigger chance of dying in the hospital than almost anything else you're going to do in life. So be careful of the health profession. Well, you've heard about charities that raise money for people in trouble. You know, there's a big, you know, heart charity, and there's one for people with cerebral palsy, and all kinds of problems that people fund in life. And there's big charities that go out and raise money, these nonprofits, to help people like that. Now, wouldn't it be great to have, you know, that you had your own charity for any problem that you see in your life, you know, and you don't have to be a nonprofit. You just go to a website and raise money to solve that problem. Your neighbor down the street, you know, maybe it's an older woman who has some kind of special problem and she needs more help in life or whatever, that now you go to a website and put that on and raise money just for her. Or your child wants a gap year. You know what a gap year is? These kids now who finish high school and they don't go right to college. Like, I'm going to take a year to see what the heck I really should be doing in life. And maybe they want to go to Peru, you know, and work in the, you know, mountains or something like that. Well, they go to this website now and get money, you know, to go out and do something like that. Or you say, hey, you know, I have a friend who has cerebral palsy or MS or something like that, and I want to raise money for her. You know, I don't want to go to the big charity. I think I'll have my own race, you know, with the people in my neighborhood. We're going to raise money for Alice, you know, and her condition. And they organize, this website organizes it all for you. Or your pet, they even do it for pets, you know, like you have a pet that needs a hip replacement, you know. And she was telling me how this lady that you're going to see in this interview, they raised $10,000 for the family to have the pet get a hip replacement, you know. So it's that kind of help that we all need at one time or another, you know, and we all don't have special little charities for ourselves, but now we do. And you don't have to know to ask for money. See these professional charities, right? They know how to ask for money, you know. Well, here, you don't have to go your hat in your hand and neighbor to neighbor or something like that. No, it's done so nice and on the internet, and you know, anybody could do it. That's what's cool. You don't even need to do a video. I mean, they're raising all this money and hardly anybody has videos. And what's neat about the site, you can go to the site, you know, it's, gosh, I forgot the name of the site already. Yeah. And you go to, you know, the site. Well, now that's silly. I don't know the site. I'm going to get it. You're going to wait, you know, until I don't look like a fool here. Okay, yeah. All you have to do is go to this site. It's called mycause.com.au because the lady's in Australia, but it's for all over the world. And you can get a list of all the people there. You can see what they're raising money for and how much they did it. And these are just individuals. They're not big organizations doing this stuff. And that's right. To me, what it does is give the power to an individual to solve problems in their community or in their circle of friends or whatever. You just do it. Spend a few hours or whatever it takes to put up the website, probably 20 minutes, you know. And that's about all. And you start the process. And that's all it takes. So watch this video and see the power now that is in your hands, it's in all of our hands to really solve problems that are in our neighborhood or that friends are coping with or whatever. You know, don't call up and say you're sorry about their circumstances. Do something. And here's a way to do something. And you're with My Cause. Now, listen, everybody out there, mycause.com.au, because you're talking with that silly accent, right, from Australia.
Hello, from Melbourne.
Yeah, from Melbourne. But more importantly, you know, I think what you're doing, Tanya, is really helping all the rest of us in the world be superheroes. It seems like we could come to your website when we see a problem. We have somebody who's in the hospital and can't pay all their bills, or we have somebody who's in trouble and needs something. Instead of them trying to find out a government office that probably, you know, it'll take them a year to find it, or a nonprofit, we can go to your website and now get this money for that person in trouble. And to me, that's like flying in with a Superman cape for people. And that's just giving power to everybody else in the world. And we could use you from anywhere in the world, right?
Yeah, you sure can. And that's it. It's all about power and control, and sort of taking that control and creating your own campaign so that you can be in charge and raise money for your friend or family member or yourself.
Yeah, and so it's so right, because people who want to go, I mean, in this country, I'm sure your country, you know, young people like maybe want to go to, you know, South America to work in building a water supply system or something like that in a village, and could fundraise on your site for projects like that, right? That's
a great way to fundraise. When you're going on a volunteer trip or a gap year trip, you're going to give your time when you're there.
Right.
So you can fundraise a little bit to help you get there. And I'm sure that your friends and family would love to help you out with that. So all your friends and family, they all pop in a little bit of money onto your online fundraising campaign, and bang, you've got enough money to fund you while you're over there when you're giving up your time and doing fantastic volunteer work.
But it seems that, I mean, I see on your site, like people use it, like families who have a favorite charity or something, they'll like have the family marathon or something and raise money on your site, you know, for some cause that the family's interested in.
Yeah, look, you can run, ride, swim, bike ride for any charity that you're interested in, or for your own personal cause. So we have people running for perhaps a sick friend, and the great thing is that you can actually add a charity as well. So let's say your friend has cystic fibrosis and you want to help them out. So you'll do your fun run, you'll fundraise for your friend, and you'll also possibly add the cystic fibrosis charity to that as well. So the donors can choose to donate to one or both, to the person
I see. So
and
you
or
want
the
to,
charity.
it's sort of like
it's a win-win.
It's like a checkout line. Hey, you want to put here to cystic fibrosis?
There you go.
I see.
Exactly.
Wonderful. But your site, it looks like so easy to use for the person. Do I have to be a computer geek, you know, to figure out? I'm going to raise money. I don't want to learn.
Leave the geeky stuff to us. All you have to do is click a couple of buttons, decide what you're going to fundraise for, and it's really easy. Just a process of filling in a little bit of a form. Tell us who you are, who you're fundraising for, a little bit about your story, possibly upload a photo if you like, and then share your page. The most important thing is share your page. You have to let people know where your campaign page is, so they can donate to it.
Right. So it doesn't happen instantly by itself. You got to do that marketing, you know, for your own little campaign, whatever it is.
Well, it's almost magic, but not quite. It's really all about the sharing. You need to share by email, by Facebook and other sort of social media. And really, actually, you have to ask. But the good thing is the asking is not embarrassing, because you're not going up front to people and saying, please sponsor me. You're just sending them perhaps nice emails, perhaps you're reminding them on Facebook. So it's a nice ask, but it's not embarrassing.
Right. No, I mean, I think it's, you know, it's more like something bigger than you if it's on the internet, you know, or something like that. And me going face to face, I need $10. But if you have a project on the internet, it's sort of more establishment, you know, than anything else, than asking for money, you know, just personally and putting it in your pocket and walking away.
Yeah, and you know, your donors will be receipted. They can look at your photos. They can they can follow any links you might have put up. Perhaps you're telling them a little bit about that water project in Guatemala that you're working on. Perhaps you put a link there. So they can take a bit of a look around and make sure that they like the project. You know, they have to trust you. They have to know you.
Right.
But as long as you're all above board, fantastic way to raise money for yourself, your charity, your project, your campaign.
And you said people are even using it for their pets. I guess vet bills are so expensive nowadays, right?
Oh, aren't they? And people love their pets, let's face it. We've raised, you know, $10,000 to help a pet have a hip replacement, eye surgery. People are really
that's wonderful.
loving using our service for their pets. So if you have a pet that you love, go right ahead. We've got a rabbit, we've got a horse.
Oh,
so
really?
go to the website, go to fundraising ideas, go to pets and animals, and you can see what other people are doing to raise money for their much beloved pets.
So, but your business also, it helps large nonprofit people in their fundraising, and what you have on the website now is for the little guy to almost do the same thing, right?
Absolutely, you're exactly right, Matthew. You've hit the nail on the head. You at home can actually behave as though you're the Red Cross in terms of your fundraising. You can create an online campaign. You can make it look as beautiful as you wish. Upload as many images as you need to. Write your compelling story, and you can share that just like any big charity or not-for-profit.
And I think what's nice about this is that instead of doing it yourself, you know, what I think, you know, it's hard when people are in trouble. You know, it's hard to have that energy yourself to do the work necessary. So doing it for somebody else, it's something, number one, it's easier to ask for money if it's going to somebody else, instead of yourself. And then plus the energy involved that you can do because you're healthy, wealthy, and wise, and the person who is struggling sometimes doesn't have that energy, you know.
That's right. A lot of our fundraisers are the friends and family of people that might be unwell. So it'll be perhaps the best friend of, unfortunately, somebody who's quite unwell, and they'll say, listen, all our friends, let's get together and help our ill friend. So, and that's really appropriate. You know,
oh, absolutely. What could be better?
And it's very similar to they're organising a drive to drop off a casserole.
Exactly,
sort of thing. They're organising a drive, a little bit of funding, help the family along the way.
And you can reach everybody everywhere, not just the people in the neighborhood that drop off the casserole.
Exactly right. You might have, you know, you've got auntie in New York, cousin in Philippines.
Right, exactly.
You know, people are everywhere.
Right. Well, this is just wonderful. Sorry? And what?
And overseas. Your friends and family might also be abroad, so you can also receive donations from anywhere.
And what you're going to have very soon on your site is like 3 or 4 different currencies, right? So no matter where you are, you get paid in that currency and you contribute in that currency and everything. So even though you talk with a funny accent, it doesn't matter, right? Oh, wonderful, Tanya. And you're at mycause.com.au. Go there if you want to be a superhero, and actually I'll send you a magic cape. I got superhero capes. Because that's what you're doing. By providing something that the rest of us could be superheroes in the country or in the world. You know, it's just, there's nothing more important you should do with your life. So I'm glad you're doing this, and keep doing it, okay?
Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in Australia sometime, Matthew.
I'll be there. Thank you. Okay, watch this video next because it's called, Invest Next Door. And here's the thing about it. Okay, now we know banks are, the biggest, most profitable companies in our country now. They're so big. The people run banks are getting more money, it seems, than ever before. And then they're causing all these problems too, right? Foreclosures and all this kind of stuff. Well, now comes the internet. Okay, the internet is coming along now and says, hey, like this woman, you're going to watch it in this website. Hey, we don't need these big guys in New York to lend money to somebody in Omaha, Nebraska who wants to start a little coffee shop or a small business of some kind, and then some fat cat in New York has has the paper and says, hey, you're not paying, you're out of business. No, going to do it locally, all local, individuals, and no middlemen. So like on a $10,000 loan, she'll say, God, you could save like $1,500. So the interest rate is lower. You, as the person needing the money, set the interest rate. Hey, I only can afford 5%, and it's going to take me 20 years to pay it off. You say that. The bank doesn't tell you. You say what you need. And see, people with money, particularly in your area, say, hey, I think that's a good idea. I'm going to lend them money. No. And so it's all online, it's very cheap, and it's a lot cheaper than the banks, and also more forgiving than the bank. I mean, it's just, why do we have foreclosure? I mean, just think if you own the note on your neighbor's bank, your neighbor's house, and your neighbor couldn't pay for a month or two or something like that. You're not going to foreclose, right? Because you could see the personal problem in that thing. If the person owes the note is 1,000 miles away, they don't care. They just want their bloody money, right? So that's the problem with our capitalism. There's limits to this thing, and it misses some of the personal satisfaction we get out of being a community. Capitalism sort of puts everybody at arm's length, and that's how we judge each other. And then we think that if we buy more stuff, we're more happy, or for some reason, especially on Black Friday or whatever that was. But it really doesn't work that way in real life, does it? There's so many other things. So if you're in the community lending small businesses money, you're getting a heck of a lot better return on your money than if you gave it to the bank, because the bank's taking the chunk in the middle. They're making the business pay a lot more, they're taking a lot more, and you as the investor is taking a lot less. So now if you get rid of the middleman, the bank, the entrepreneur pays a lot less. You putting up the money for a loan, get a lot more. So more things happen. And also now you have the satisfaction of knowing, hey, I started that garage over there. I'm an owner. I go over and say hello to this guy. Or let's go to that restaurant over there that I have some ownership in. Could I lend this guy money? And things like it becomes, a more rewarding life because you're in touch with all your community now. And you're able to help your community instead of putting in some investment advisor, right? Who puts it in some big fund you don't even know how to spell, right? And some guy in New York on Wall Street is making all the money, and you got all the worries. And so these are the kinds of things that are happening in our society now. And anywhere you see, when people in the old industries making a lot of money, man, smart young people are going to find new ways to get some of that and make it more profitable for all of us. So watch this. Well, Lisa, Omen, right? Not too hard. I had somebody from Sweden a little while ago, and I killed that name. But the names don't matter because we want to know about investnextdoor.com. That's where you guys started just a couple months ago. And now you're getting money in loans, really, for an active small businesses who need money, and they can't get it at the bank, or banks charging too much money and stuff like that. That you provide this platform where it almost costs almost nothing to figure out how to do it yourself, and you get neighbors to invest in your business, don't you? So you're really keeping everything local, like bringing our communities together, bringing entrepreneurs with actually not only people are investing, sort of like lending them money as in their company, but it's really educating people about their company too, don't they? So Absolutely. This is a way to grow your company, not only with loan money, but with information almost about what you're doing in the community. Yeah. Why are you helping so many people like this? It really seems like straight from your heart that you want to help these struggling businesses, huh?
Well, I spent many years as a consultant for cities in the United States, rolling out software for community engagement and community programs. And then subsequently after that, I worked in mergers and acquisitions with small businesses. And I realized that my passion was really working with small business owners and trying to help rebuild main streets and, just really tying these communities together and helping the grow stronger local economic.
Well, I mean, to me, it makes so much sense. Not only that you eliminate, a small business going to the bank, and the bank's headquartered in New York, and some guy's making the decision in New York about somewhere in the middle of Iowa. What the hell do they know about that? They don't know anything about it. And that's crazy. So you're bringing it right to that. Or the other thing is like getting a government grant or loan or something like that for some bureaucrat in Washington who doesn't really know the business. And see, what's funny to me is that we're paying money in taxes to give to Washington for a government loan that goes back to your town that somebody else makes the decision. So you're cutting out all that middleman, right? Yeah. And I make money too with the loan. That's terrific. Wow, why didn't someone think of this before?
Well, it was new regulations at the end of last year, actually, that helped, open the door for crowd lending. So that, as you said, the benefits are that the small business gets potentially lower interest rates, and they get to build their community connections, and that the investors get to make solid returns, as well as, investing back in their community. So those two pieces are win-win.
So we were talking earlier, like it could be like if you borrow $100,000 from the bank, I mean, you're going to pay a couple $1,000s in fees, right? Just private, whatever for the fat cats up in the big rooms, and then they charge you, whether it's 7, 10, 12% or 15 or whatever, and depending on who you are, you could save maybe $15,000 just an interest rate alone by going into your site, right?
Yeah, so they can set their interest rates, and then the investors get to create offers on them. So it's a real equal playing field as far as...
So really, the small business is in control. They say, hey, this is, they go to the bank, and the bank tells them no, but they get a sense of maybe what the market is, right? Yep. So they come on your site, and they say, okay, I need a 50 grand, but I'm only going to give 5%, and how I'm going to give it, and things like this, and you handle all the paperwork. I mean, so when you're paying back monthly after a year or whatever it is, that it's your system that pays all this back, right?
Yeah. The payment, we have a payment processor that handles
So I don't have to worry about that as a small business. I'm writing 1,500 checks to everybody every month or something like that. And as an investor, I'm getting that cash flow back faster than if I did it any other way. Plus a hell of a lot more interest I'm making than if I'm taking it down to the bank and making 0.5% or whatever the hell they're giving me now, which is nonsense. So you're making everybody win in the system. I mean, is it just the technology that makes it happen, or what else?
It's a lot of education, like just awareness. People are obviously now really excited about crowdfunding, which is fantastic for starting a new product or project. and they, there's some interest about equity where
Yeah.
you're giving up portions of your company in, exchange for, larger investment. But I'm not sure the awareness yet is out there that there's lending.
Yeah, no,
the
I can't
opportunity
imagine.
to do crowd lending,
Yeah.
and where the investors get their monthly returns and the businesses get their reasonable rates.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like hedge funds are starting to look at this now too. I mean, so you're in a hot new industry. I mean, everybody, when the big money starts looking, that something's going on here. And you're in the ground floor, but more so, I think, a company like yours, or just talking to you is a short time, I see your heart is really there for that small entrepreneur, their small business, right? On Main Street, we have all these businesses that mean so much to the community, and the average person living in the community doesn't know their needs, but now this is a way to show, and you want to support some of this locally, right? And then feel like a big shot because they help that business grow, and the whole community grows, and everything like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, the impact investing of being able to walk down Main Street and knowing that you helped those businesses.
Yeah. Hey, that guy's mine. That guy's mine. And let's go for coffee at this guy. I know him well. You act like a big shot, even though you only gave me $100 or whatever as a loan. Yeah. So are there? And really, the fee, once you get everything, the biggest fee is like $500. That you charge. You're not charging. So if you raise $1 million, you're not getting 6% like a normal crowdfunding site. You're just getting $500 and that's it. So that's why your fees are so financial servicey. Everybody wants percentages because then on the big deals they make gazillions for doing nothing. But it seems like you guys are very fair in how you're structuring this, to pay your way, because if you're not there, nothing happens. So we got to keep you there, and you got to get something out of these deals, so you stay there and keep contributing to this, wonderful idea you have, and trying to help communities around the country. So you were really involved in San Francisco and other places, and trying to do almost similar techie things to get citizens involved in their community, huh?
Yeah, so I worked for a software company, and we had software that we rolled out to those cities to do their community programs and engagements. And
I see.
And I was in San Francisco for about 16 weeks working with them on their rollout.
Very wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, now it sounds like you have the rest of your life to roll this out, because it's going to be rolling and rolling and rolling, because it's such a great idea. And it's wonderful that you put this up. And you've only been at it a couple months, and you have all these neat businesses already on your site that are doing all this money. What's your favorite one so far that you have?
Well, I think MIT Gel is really interesting.
Really? What is that? What kind of business?
So that's they've designed a bulletproof vest.
Oh, wow!
Made out of gel technology.
I see.
And it's just a fascinating product, and what they're doing is really interesting. And then Digital Farm, which is a digital and media company focused on small businesses. So it's really an interesting.
Digital farm? So they're farming small digital businesses? Or?
You can almost visualize it, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's wonderful. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for being there. And your website, InvestNextDoor, InvestNextDoor.com. I spell everything because I flunked English in college. I still have trouble spelling. But InvestNextDoor.com. At least see it. See those businesses. Maybe you want to give somebody $100 and be a big shot and own part of that business, or get your local entrepreneurs to know about this source of capital. If nobody else is getting the money, tell them, hey, check out investnextdoor.com. That's a good way to get money for your small business, right?
That's great.
Thank you, Lisa. Take care.
Thank you so much. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Well, here's a neat young fella who really could inspire us all to take that idea we have sitting around in our head or a drawer and go out and do something with it. Man, that's what he did, and he went out and he always had problems, going like to concert. A young fella going to a lot of concerts and getting tired. You stand all day on these things, and he designed this little foldable chair, really, and that sticks. You can put it in your breast pocket. It's only about 6. It folds up to about 6 inches. Not one of these big folding, kites that look like you get at Walmart or whatever. No, this is something. And actually, those big folding chairs, they're leaving him at festivals. I mean, he was telling me like so many festivals, what they pick up thousands of these things because it's so cheap from China. They bring them and they sit there and they leave them. But no, because this is like a stool you could sit on. So it doesn't even, you don't miss the action by being low on the ground either. Or say, old guys like me going to grandkids soccer game, and I don't want to stand the whole time. Man, I just put it here. Somebody can put it in their purse, or whatever, wherever you go, going on the golf course or whatever, or for a walk, and you could just have it around. If you get a little tired, then you have your own little seat. And it's just a wonderful idea. And again, you know what he was majored in? Asian studies. So he's not some engineer or high-techy guy or whatever. No, Asian studies, studying Asian philosophy, geography, stuff like that. But now he just saw a need. And now he's getting all this money on crowdfunding. To make his project. He made a prototype and got on there. And this is why our country can now get ahead, or any country, anybody. I mean, this guy's actually from Denmark, so you can do it from anywhere in the world. To do stuff like this. You just have to know it's possible and use the tools that are out there to make it happen. Sure, it's going to take work, but it takes idea work. It takes perseverance. It's not going to take a big check. It's not going to take going to school. It's not going to take hiring consultants and things like this. No, all that help now is there on the click of a mouse. And you could do it. Anybody can. I keep talking to so many people that have no background at all in what they're doing at all ages, whether they're teenagers at 16 or retired people at 65. They're using this tool. So watch how you could use it too. Watch this story. Well, Jonas Lynn Bendixen, that's it. I could speak like I live in Denmark, like you. But you got this wonderful seat. I mean, as an old guy, I go out and I want to go to a festival or whatever. And even though I run 6 miles a day, every day to keep in shape, I still get tired standing a long time. And you got this thing that I could put in my pocket, fold it out, and sit and stand at the same time and relax anywhere that I get older. And this is why, for an aging market, it's not only festival going. I showed it to my kid who's 32 years old, goes to every festival from Burning Man to anywhere there's a concert, that it's ideal for anybody to have in their arsenal of daily living, and it's cheap. I mean, it's next to nothing.
Yeah, it's priced so everybody can get one.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And also you're on Kickstarter now, crowdfunding, and you have almost $40,000 already, with only a week or so. So people love this thing.
People really love it. Yeah, people write the best comments, and it's just as you say, it's for everybody. So people that have a bad back, or people that have weak knees, or a sports injury, or anything like that, they can use it, and they write so many fantastic comments on the product, because normally the products out there, they look clumsy and they look strange, and you sit on the ground or you sit strangely. But with this one, it's kind of it's really inconspicuous. Nobody can see that you're actually sitting.
So you look like some big macho guy, but you're really an old fart who gets it.
Or actually, if if they're looking at you from a particular angle, actually nobody can even see that you're sitting on it. So it's like you're floating.
And everybody has these collapsible chairs that are big clunky things. And you were saying that in Denmark they leave them even after festivals. And they got all this waste that nobody's, taking advantage of.
Yeah, unfortunately, so many produce these camping chairs and cheap camping things in China. They're cheaper to buy a camping chair than beer. So when people but they're more clumsy than to carry around than beer.
Yeah,
so
you carry around. You see people walking around with these big things. You wouldn't even know that you have your chair in your pocket when you're walking down the street. Right?
Here it is.
Yeah, that's it. Right. You can put it anywhere. That's phenomenal. I mean, and what I can't understand. What did you study in college when you were in college? You studied political science or something like that? What was it?
No, it's called Asian Studies program.
Asian Studies. So you're Asian Studies.
Learning about Asia.
Right. So that's what I mean. It's like geography, philosophy, and stuff like that. You didn't sit with a slide rule and a PC, more or less.
Nope.
Yeah, no math involved, but you're able to do it. I think that's what's so neat about our economy now. Anybody with any kind of background could go and learn to do neat stuff that the rest of society needs, and that's what you're doing.
Exactly. Just look it up on Google if you're in doubt.
So you make a parent proud, don't you?
Yeah. I do. Hopefully, if we get funded, I will. For sure.
Yeah. Well, you're almost there. You have to. I mean, you got hundreds of people doing this already, thousands, and because it is so cheap. Now, I mean, I think you get in about like $25, $30 or something like that. You get one of these, right?
So the first one is the super early bird is $20.
I see. They're gone. They're gone.
They're all gone. And the other one is about $23, $30.
24. Yeah, right. Yeah.
There's still quite a few left.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful, and it's going to be successful. And then when you get in stores and stuff like that, I'm going to have to pay twice the price. So the time to get it is now.
Right? Get it now,
right? So you want the deal. So people in Denmark don't only have to use it; just everywhere in the world. I mean, this is going to be phenomenal. I imagine. I mean, everybody. It's something. Why not, for $30 have one of these in case, and it looks like, oh, am I going to stand long or not? And you don't have to make a decision about carrying that chair because you put it in your purse, your pocket, or whatever, and it's light. I mean, you got this
lying in your glove compartment.
Right, exactly. Oh, right? That's right. Yeah, your glove compartment. And this thing actually has a double purpose. Because it's bulletproof, you said.
It's bulletproof. You said it, yeah. It's made of really cool material. So actually, when it's all packed together like this, it's bulletproof.
I see. So when the bad guys are chasing you, you got
just
a shield.
Have it in your back pocket at all
times. And you're safe from the Riddler.
Exactly.
Well, that is a delight. And to find out, I mean, you have a cute little video that shows you all about this. Even if you don't get a jury, you got to see the technology and the scope of is that what you call it? Where it goes into each other. Telescopic, that's the word. Yeah. And how that works so smoothly. I could tell just in the video how smooth and elegant this whole thing is. I mean, people handle it like it's just a paperweight and weighs nothing at all.
That was the main purpose. It has to be so simple that everybody can use it, and so fast that you're not standing there when you
unfolding that thing and snapping in stakes in the ground.
The main reason why people don't use the stuff is because it's too inconvenient or it's too difficult to use. And this one takes 5 seconds, and then you're sitting.
Exactly. So you're catering to my laziness, aren't you?
Yeah, kind of. But we're also catering to not to gravity, but gravity takes a toll on everybody. So even no matter how strong you are, you will always have like after half an hour of standing, you get tired no matter how strong.
Exactly. There's no way around, and especially with an aging population or antsy kids. I mean, imagine. I mean, kids get antsy too, and they can't stand around for them. I mean, even playing with this thing is wonderful. I mean, it's like a wonderful toy for a kid to have. Then he has a seat, and he won't be a pain in the butt. When you go to the park with them, say, "Oh, sit down." Where here? Oh, that's wonderful. Well, it's so nice to have you. And it's sitpack.dk that's Denmark, right? Exactly. So that's the website. sitpack.dk is the website. Go there, look at this thing before they're all gone, because then you have to pay twice the price maybe, so don't wait. But just to see, I think the elegance of what you designed, I mean, it is inspires, I think, the rest of us to see how something as simple and elegant as this is can solve a real personal problem and an important problem, an aging population or anything. It's good for you for doing this and taking time out of your studies to make all this money.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Jonas. Best of luck
Thank
to
you.
you. Talk to you soon. Hi. Okay, now here's a fellow that's really an inspiration to all of us. You know how life beats us up and we feel sorry for ourselves and we don't feel like doing anything or whatever. Well, here's a fella that not only life beat him up, I mean, he lost his job, he lost his wife, he got a condition where he got Tourette's syndrome, so he can't even speak right. All of a sudden he goes, huh, huh. You know, he uncontrollably just can't speak, and he's a ventriloquist too. So, I mean, his whole life had turned upside down, but you know what? It didn't stop. I mean, he talks about it, it's really tough, but he went on the internet now to start raising money for his ideas. What he has is, he's also a painter, and he paints, you know, things that you put on your ceiling that are invisible during when lights are on, but when lights go off, you see the sky, you see the constellation. It's a wonderful little product that he does. But he's going on there on the internet because it costs nothing to do. He has no money. You know, he's working at McDonald's actually, part-time I think it is, you know, and this is what he's struggling to do. So that's why there's tools in our society, no matter how difficult life hands you, difficulties they hand you, you know, there's still options for you to try something, and that's what keeps hope alive, I think. If you're trying something, then you're a little bit hopeful, and that gives you the energy to keep going until something really does happen or change or whatever. But without trying anything, nothing will happen at all. And that's what's so great about the internet nowadays. There's ways to try something that costs little money, requires very little training or education. And when you see him, he's a delightful fellow and is an inspiration to all of us. So watch this. Well, Charles Zito, and I have to admit I screwed up. We did this before, but I forgot to turn some on. I'm an old guy and I forget all the buttons sometimes. So we're doing it again. But more important, Charles, I mean, these posters you have and that your program on Kickstarter that people could get on Kickstarter, they're called Mystical Illusion Magic Posters, and you put them in your bedroom on your ceiling, and when you turn the lights off, it's looking at the stars right from your bed. And that's perfect for me, Charles, because I hate camping. I love the stars, but I hate camping. You know? So now I get the stars in my bedroom in a nice warm house.
Yeah, perfect,
and it's
man.
terrific.
That'd be perfect for you. I'll have to send you one.
And also for kids, I mean, I would think, you know, for Christmas coming up, this is a wonderful thing because the magic of it, it's a white poster. So the kid will open up this poster and they just see a white board and they say, gosh, Daddy, you gave me nothing. Yeah, I could have got a white board anywhere. and then they'll be surprised when they put it on the ceiling and turn the lights out at night and the magic happens, right?
Absolutely, yes. That's the way it's designed to look, like a blank sheet of poster board. Of course, if you feel it, you can feel the bumps on it. But from 6 feet away or further, like on a ceiling, for example, over a bed, you won't be able to tell. People will be looking at, hey, what's that blank sheet of paper doing up there? It's not a blank sheet of paper. Turn the light off. It comes to life. Absolutely beautiful. You do have to charge it up for about 10 minutes because.
So you have to charge it up for about 10 minutes?
Yeah, about 10 minutes or so. If you have a black light, that's even better. In fact, when I do the ceilings and murals here in Georgia, I give my clients a black light as part of it.
I see. So that's really your business too, is putting murals on walls and ceilings that light up at night, huh? Wow. How did you start that business?
Well, there's a company in I think they're in Nevada, and they've been doing it for 30 years. They have a kit that's $4,000, which I thought was a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
And one of the things my wife told me was to kind of go online and figure it out. You know, there's got to be another way to do this. And that's what I did. I found a website that told me exactly what to use, where to buy the pigment, how to mix the paint, everything. And I got that information for free and just kind of MacGyvered my way through it, basically.
Wow! So this $4,000 product you did for yourself for free, and now you're putting this artwork for thousands of people to enjoy all over the country, and the posters now are on Kickstarter, right? So you can go to Kickstarter and put Mystical Illusions magic poster to get one of these, and they're only like 25 bucks on Kickstarter, right? So they're nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's a wonderful Christmas idea. And if you're watching this video and your Kickstarter program is gone, actually you go to mysticalpainting.com, right? That's your website, and you can always get them there. But more important, I think, Charles, what's interesting to me about you is that a few months ago you were diagnosed with Tourette syndrome, that you have a tic now, right? Yeah, so that's it, the tic now. That's the height, the one when you say.
Yeah, that's the one that's like a hut.
Right.
It happens all the time. Basically, it's like having basically what it is, the science behind it. Our brains produce a chemical called dopamine, and in the normal body, it controls your eye blinking, your heart's beating, and your lungs' ability to inhale and exhale. Obviously, that happens without your control. It just happens,
right?
Or else we die, obviously. My brain produces too much of the chemical, so what happens is it goes to those three places, but then it goes to other places, including my vocal cords, and every time it goes like to the vocal cords, like that happens.
I see. And every time you're doing that now, I mean, you're not showing us for demonstration. That's just right.
No, to be honest with you, I've been at work since about 9 this morning, and I've been ticking pretty much all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. So it just goes. Well, I mean, to me, it's. I mean, your attitude about this. I mean, you're still going forward. You have this, disability that must be a real pain in the butt. And I don't know if I would have handled it as well as you are. But you're just soldiering on, aren't you?
Well, it's funny because I do have a good attitude. I've read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill 7 times.
Wow.
So. Yeah, I believe his philosophy of the 13 steps to get anything you want, and I practice that, and I don't let anything bother me. And persistence, people tell me I have the patience of Job, because I'm so persistent. I'm like a combination of Job and Sam I Am from the Dr. Seuss book. But I don't let it bother me. It's like having somebody follow you around tapping you on the shoulder all day long, and you don't want to be bothered, and he just comes by and goes, hey, you just got to not let that get you and keep on going with your day.
Well, people like you ought to be encouraged in this society because you are doing that and not complaining about how unfair the world is instead, and stuff. And plus, your artwork is wonderful. I mean, it's a wonderful idea. The family should have it. Kids should have it. I mean, it's a wonderful thing, and more people should know about that part of you. Instead of just the tics. But I just appreciate you doing this so much and sharing yourself with the rest of us so we could be encouraged to act like Charles too, because we all run into problems and there's no way around it sometimes. And how you deal with your problems, I think, is more important than how you deal with success, isn't it?
Amen. Absolutely, man. I try to keep a good philosophy, and there's a lot of good things out there that things do. I mean, as far as my background's in theatrics and drama, so I'm actually also, believe it or not, a stand-up comedian.
Oh, wonderful!
And I'm a ventriloquist.
Oh.
Yeah, and when I throw my voice, I mean, I could do a demo real quick. Watch this. Oh no! There's literally nothing. Hey, is that some kind of trick? Anyway, so yeah.
That's wonderful,
so
and it doesn't have a tick either.
No, it doesn't. When I perform. Sometimes I don't tick. I'm hoping, though, eventually we're going to hopefully at some point do a DVD about it, and I'll have my puppets out, and I've got a title for the DVD that I haven't copywritten yet, but I'm working on it.
Well, so we can find your stand-up and your ventriloquism also on your website, or get to you that way at mysticalpainting.com, right?
Absolutely. People can send me an email, or they can go look up my name, Chip Zito. Do a search for Chip Zito, and there's on YouTube, and there's a video called Ventriloquism 101. I did it a number of years ago, but it's me with my puppets, and I was just kind of at home messing around when I was married. I had my wife and friends over. We were just messing around on the computer, and it was before I had the tick. But,
oh, wonderful!
Yeah, go check it out.
I will, and then before that, but people should go to Kickstarter and go Mystical Illusions Magic Poster and get one of these for your friends and family for Christmas, because who else could put the stars in their bedroom? Yeah, and plus have the heat on too. Well, take care, Charles. Wonderful to talk to you, and thank you so much for your perseverance and showing your enthusiasm and sharing it with us. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.